Sometimes you got to take stuff out of the venue that you're actively posting in to gain a little bit more freedom to say what you want to say. So here goes. This part of this topic is in reference to Amir over at ASR now doing YouTube videos. And some of the talk was about this Tycho Extreme server. It's a dual Xeon server. It's not a custom case, it's just a expensive case, nice case with water cooling. So it's a silent Xeon server that connects directly to a DAC. So, what are our use cases for something that has 20 to 40 cores of CPU on it? Well, all the heavy lifting. In an audio, that would be any DSP, ASCR, convolution, any filters like that that we're doing, format conversion, on-the-fly format conversion, DSD, PCM, what have you. So with this Tycho piece, it is meant to be silent and is meant to be directly connected to a DAC, which I kind of have a problem with that because you've got people rallying around this, and noise is bad, but you're taking something that is typically noisy, which is something that's doing all this work, and hooking it directly to your DAC instead of feeding your DAC the finished product. So I go on the website to read a bit more about it, and a lot of unsupportable subjective statements. That's fine. I leave all that alone. The only thing that I point out here is that they confuse backup with RAID. So RAID is not backup. RAID is redundancy in case you lose a hard drive and you're not down and out. You haven't lost downtime. Backup is when the entire box goes up and all your redundancies have failed. Cryptoware, ransomware. Perfect example of when you're breaking out the backups. All right, so I point this out, and then I also point out what I'm able to do for basically a little less than $700, and that is HP ProLiant server, 2 processors on it. I get 32 logical cores out of it, 128 gigs of ECC RAM, 8 terabytes of storage, SSD boot drive. I get 4 copper Ethernet. I get 2 10 gig fiber via add-in card. I get lights out management. And I go show them some pictures. Okay, this is what a real server looks like. The Tycho piece is based on I believe a Asus or ASRock workstation motherboard. Nothing wrong with that. They make great products. So I've pointed this out. And then we get into the rebuttal, or what people take umbrage with. So now I get this. Now I feel that I am explaining 101 IT concepts to people. And, sometimes just accept something that it is what it is. You don't have to make an excuse for them. They're a manufacturer of a high-end product. They should just know better. Just come out straight up and say it. I personally am not going to buy from an outfit like that. If they can't get this stuff right, then I don't know what to say. They're not going to get my business, especially at $27,000 when I can do something for 800, 700. At some point, I simply state you don't need to spend gobs of money on it. You don't have to sacrifice anything either if you don't spend gobs of money. And we get Peter ST. So Peter shows that he's got some stuff in his basement. That's great, dude. And that he's got this case, and it's all basically silent, and it is a Xeon. But you've got to look at what he's done to this. He has taken a Xeon and changed the front side bus to 500 megahertz. Of course, if you change it to 500 megahertz, it's going to be all passive. There's going to be no water cooling or no heat sinks except for the CPU, and that you run it at 60 degrees max. You've effectively kneecapped your processor. Why even bother? So the point is, and I do make the point in thread, that you don't need this as your endpoint. You need something like this, and you need to allow it to do what it's designed to do, and that's run at full frequency rate and do the DSP and do the ASRC and do any convolution. And I'd put out there, it's like, hey, you'd be better off with a Pi as a DNLA client. It's low power, does exactly what it's supposed to do. You can get RoPi or RoPi. You can get any of these other installs to turn into a DNLA client or an NAA client for HQ Player. And I get an immediate pushback from somebody that is actually a vendor in the industry. I don't have a clue. The DSP stuff doesn't happen there. It doesn't happen. Doesn't happen on the endpoint. That's basically what he's saying. And he couldn't be more wrong. So this is where the real problem comes into, is nobody's going to push back on this except for probably me or one or two other people, and everybody else is just going to be like, makes sense to me, so they don't know what they don't know. I have no idea how Chris came to this conclusion. I am saying bits are bits. What I'm saying is your backend server, after it's done convolution, after it's applied any transcoding, after it's done any upsampling or any other sort of sample rate conversion, it's sending a PCM stream, it's sending a DOP stream, it's sending DSD stream. It's just a stream. Whatever your unit gets, doesn't matter if it's a computer or a Pi, it got a stream of bits. So I point out the obvious. I go right back to the source, and this is per MISCA. All processing is performed by HQ Player desktop, or you can separate the GUI and the processing engine, and it spits it all out to the DAC over NNA. And the thread just blows up after this. So, to make a long story short, the thread really doesn't go anywhere after this because they're all left with nothing to say. Now things do get a little bit heated, and that is because he's so snarky that he's calling me a theoretician in my comments. Like, no, I'm not a theoretician. This is just how the stuff works. The issue is I just showed you why you're wrong, point blank. You won't correct your thinking on it when you've been pointed out that it's wrong. So you went from ignorant to stupid. And I'll even say it down here in answering Alex. Stupidity is ignorance left willfully uncorrected. In the past, I've offered $4,000. I've even more recently offered $8,000. And you got to put up $1,000 of your own to blind test stuff like streamers making a difference when they've been bit streamed to and what the DAC outputs. So I can't give away $4,000. I can't give away $8,000. I'm like, okay, I'll go and we'll get into a Google Duo meet. It will be Alex or Superdad. It'll be Chris. It'll be Peter and myself. And it's like, and I will go 3-to-1. And the reason I say that is like, I know I can back up my position. It's not a problem. And what I'm actually getting at is this is an intellectual integrity issue. People will not say under what circumstances they are willing to consider their position to be incorrect. I have, and I'll pay you for it. I won't do it for free though. He's like, you're going to have some skin in the game, but I'm giving you 8-to-1 on your money. So that's not working. The second thing is obviously here. It's like, okay, let's put all our faces on screen and just have a conversation. We can put up on YouTube and we can let the best of ideas win. And obviously that's not going to go anywhere. So this is my frustration with the audiophile community. This is my frustration with some boutique manufacturers that just get it wrong. It's just there's no other defense for it. And if they're wrong about one thing, they can be probably wrong about some others, but that's not even the issue. Everybody's wrong about something at some point. The real issue is when you've been proven wrong and you won't take the steps to correct the misunderstanding or the ignorance. Then we get stupid. Look, I'm ignorant about cars. I don't work on my cars. I'll take them to other people and let them work on it. Now, if I go in and I start arguing with the mechanic over how a repair should be carried out, and he's the expert and he's done this repair 100 times, I have just went from ignorant about working on a car to stupid working on a car because I got somebody telling me that something that I believe isn't so, somebody that's done it 100 times that knows better, and I'm just not going to listen. And after that point, I kind of actually deserve everything that I get. And that's just the way it is. None of us are perfect. I think we can all row in the same direction, but I just wanted to point out some of the entrenchment with the community, and you've got to be willing to just have a little bit more of an open mind about this stuff. It will serve you well. That's it. Thanks.